Hey, Shane McMurray from the Wedding Report. In this episode, I interview Cynthia from DelConte Photography in the Hudson Valley, New York area. Enjoy. All right, Cynthia. So, hey, thanks again. I really appreciate you doing this, taking the time to do it. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna talk about your business. We're gonna talk a little bit about couples and stuff, and then we're gonna talk about the business itself, right? And then a couple other things. So, and then wherever else our conversation might go, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
So first, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your business, your website, all that good stuff, where you're at, all that good stuff.
Well, I've been shooting weddings for about 20 years, so I'm not new to the ball game, but I found in the last few years my growth has been much bigger than it was for probably 16 of those years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, technology allowed me to really experiment and try things and break out of any boxes that I was in. I started weddings strictly on film. So I shot film until 2006 exclusively. And then I was kind of a hybrid for a few years,
Okay.
Film and digital. And then as the technology got better, I moved to all digital. I used to bring Polaroid cameras, and I have a vintage 1952 Polaroid A100 that I had modified, and I would bring that.
Nice.
I had a couple weddings I shot strictly on Polaroid. I shot a lot of weddings, all black and white film. So my evolution has been to come to this whole other place where I can do off-camera lighting that's sensational, that I don't even have to think about it anymore. I don't have any cords. It's light, it's fast. And I could use all my years prior to weddings. My husband and I had a commercial studio in New York City, and we shot very high-end product photography. We did Tiffany's and Estee Lauder and Bloomingdale's, and you name it, we were doing it. So weddings were something I never thought I would like. And it turned out I loved it because it was kind of like a fashion shoot, but better. Everything was there for me. All the elements were there. The details were there. The styling was there. The makeup and the hair is usually there. Sometimes not so good, but usually it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And the emotional content's there. So it offered me this forum where I could really stretch my legs and show what I can do, at the same time creating a document that's artful and natural, but with consideration for the couple's not going to want the picture of them with their eyes crossed like that. But, you know, I still strive to make beautiful images, but I don't want them to be cheesy, canned, static, predictable. I want them to really represent who the couple is. So I might get a couple that wants 2 minutes of portraits and that's it. And I'm fine with that. I can do 2 minutes and get a lot out of them, and then do the whole rest of the wedding completely true documentary style. I'm never tapping somebody on the shoulder saying, look at me and smile. I don't do that. I hate that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, you know, my career has spanned everything from a trailer wedding, backyard wedding, to the Hearst Castle last summer in California, and did a state dinner at the White House recently. So it's been a really varied career. And as I get older, I've been really worried. You know, people are going to think I'm too old and they're not going to hire me because I'm probably the oldest wedding photographer in the Hudson Valley. But that said, I bring the experience, but I still have this like really big energy, which weddings take. For all the newbies, get comfortable shoes, make sure you eat some protein, bring energy bars, because you're going to need all of that. You really do. I mean, my New Year's Eve wedding was 12 straight hours. Wow. It was fabulous. I had no complaints. It was such a high point to end the season with this incredibly gorgeous event, and nothing went wrong, which is like, really? I didn't have one flash misfire. I mean, you know, it's always a miracle when you shoot 8,500 images, and that
is a miracle.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is I have people I trust who come with me, and I really recommend creating a team of people who will understand what you want, and you don't have to be directing them all day. So they know if I'm at one place, they should be at the other. if I'm getting a view of the groom during the ceremony, they know they're going to get the bride. I don't have to instruct them on that. If they see I'm using a wide lens, they're going to use a long lens. So we're always working in counterpoint to each other. So I'm sure I'm going to get a collection that's going to be very varied, that they're not going to have just one view all day long, mine, because I'm also short. So my images are something, you know, I shoot from my height. I'm 4'11", but I've learned to keep.
How long did it take you though to get that, to get your team like that though?
The first, well, it didn't take me long. I've always had an assistant since 2005.
Okay.
Prior to that, I had a huge opportunity. Sarah Jessica Parker's siblings' brother was getting married, and they hired me, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know it was a movie star wedding. I had no clue. But when I found out a week before the wedding, I got my son, who was a photo major in college, and a friend to come and help me, because I was like, I was terrified. And it went really well.
That's great.
And I learned that these second shooters were really important to me that day. And then I got 2 more of the siblings after that from Sarah Jessica Parker's wedding. Then I had the other 2, and it led to a lot of work down the road. I mean, she was a big star then. It's when Sex and the City really hit the screen.
Yeah, right.
And so I was getting lots and lots and lots of work.
That's awesome.
Some of it earned, some of it not. You know, some of it I wasn't ready for, honestly. When I look back, I mean, I did okay, but not spectacular. Not what I could do now after all these years.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned a lot. But the team, so I've always had one person who would stay with me for a while, even in the early years. But my 2 guys, one's going on 6 years, and the other one's been with me 12.
That's nice.
So if you find someone you love, pay them right.
Yeah.
Treat
so
them
it takes a little bit of time, right, to build the team and get them familiar with everything. But
sure. And I've had the experience of having to bring somebody with me because my second's not available, and my other second I've hired out to shoot a wedding on his own.
Sure. Yeah.
And I have to hire someone I don't know, and I hate it. I work around it. I end up shooting a lot more myself because I'm worried that I'm not getting coverage.
Sure.
If they're with me 3 or 4 times,
they know
they've got it.
Yeah,
then it's fine. Then we're clicking. But the first time is always, you know, I'm learning about them and they're learning about me. Yeah. They don't know me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely challenging, but I've been very lucky.
That's great.
Really, you feed them. Make sure everybody's eating. I bring sandwiches for everyone.
Oh,
I pack food.
All right, let's go. I'm ready. I'm hungry now. Come on.
I mean, that's what you do. You know, you want to take care of people because it's a long day. Everybody works hard.
Yeah.
We get like 20 minutes break, if that. And usually it's when cocktails, like they'll sit us down to dinner and they announce the father's giving a toast, right? Sure. So, and my guys have always been terrific. They'll jump in if I haven't eaten and vice versa, you know, so we team it.
So so just for clarity, you're in Hudson Valley, New York area?
Yeah, I shoot everywhere from the Hamptons all the way upstate and anywhere you send me.
All right.
But I'm in Rhinebeck, New York, so I'm kind of right in northern Dutchess County.
Okay. And your the name of your business? It's
Stay for Night Productions / Delconte Photography.
All right. Okay, great. Make sure you send me your website, all that good stuff, because I want to make sure I post that with this. So one of the things that I get questions about, or usually I get this from businesses, and they say, well, people only just want to know about price and they don't really care about the value. So one of the things I want to do is be able to help couples understand the amount of work and effort that you guys put into this stuff. So they understand, look, the reason you're paying this price is because this is what I got to put into this. And so if you could just explain what is it like if you're going to shoot a wedding, what do you have to put into it? It's not just the shoot, right? You've got stuff.
Right. Oh no, it's way more.
And after. So let's talk about that.
So from the first meeting, after we're booked, and prior to booking, I often will handhold and give lots of recommendations to people I've worked with, because I know a lot of vendors now. After so many years, I can recommend the florist and the wedding planner if they don't have one, or if I really think they need one. For example, if the couple's coming from Chicago, They're having a destination wedding because they went to school in the Hudson Valley. And they're both executives in a law firm. So they have no time and they're young. So, they're working 70 hours a week and they think they can just wing it. I really encourage them to get at least a day of planner, if not a month of, because wedding planning is huge. And as a photographer, I feel like my job is to help you make it easier. So
yeah,
I do that as much as I can without giving away the whole story. I hear him. He sounds cute.
Yeah, I know.
And then,
Neighborhood
so
watch.
then we go through a timeline and we plan out the day. And I get timelines from planners that are unrealistic. For example, this New Year's Eve wedding, the timeline was the first look was at 3:30. It's dark at 20 after 4.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So if they're, and in that first look, they had to stop and read each other their vows, which took 20 minutes. They wanted to do a private vow read. And then they had 20 some people in their wedding party. So we had to do the portraits of them, the vows, the wedding party. They want to do it all outside by a waterfall and be able to do all the family portraits before the ceremony. That's at 5:30.
Wow.
So I got there and I said, I should have seen this timeline ahead of time, but we have to push it up. We're going to start at 2:45 and I'll be done by 4:45. And that's for everything. And that means because it's winter, we had to set up lighting indoors. We can't just walk into the space and think it's going to be beautiful.
Right.
I bring studio lighting that's quite portable, but I wanted it to be beautiful. I don't want to just have lined up, football shots. Everybody's standing. It's so boring. So I want them to be beautiful. So we manage it, but this is all part of the planning. Sometimes I'll do a site visit if it's needed. This wedding was an hour away. I didn't need a site visit, but I did a lot of Google looking. I went to see all the different images I could see so I knew what was surrounding. I talked to my studio partner who'd been there many times and told me lighting issues, it's a huge glass space. So she said, oh, you're going to have a hard time with your flashes. So I was so prepared that I didn't have any trouble. And then so we do that. We do the timeline. We make sure your family list is realistic and you're not going to be standing around and lined up pictures for hours.
Right.
I'll help you whittle it down. So it's a good list, but it's covering everything, but it's condensed.
Yeah.
Because I think family pictures should take 15 minutes. No one wants to stand there for an hour and a half waiting to have a snack during cocktails or prior to the ceremony getting burnt out. They're like, by the time the ceremony happens, everybody's beat. The bride's starting to get that glazed look in her face. So I help them plan that. Day before the wedding, takes me all day to pack. I have to charge everything. You can see all my chargers over there. I have tons of chargers. I have to make sure my lighting's ready, formatting all my cards, making sure my assistants are ready to go. We discuss our wardrobe. Is it black tie? Do you have to wear a suit? Can you wear a black t-shirt? Is it casual? There's all of that. But as soon as we're at the wedding, it's nonstop. For us, it's never shorter than 8 hours. Typically it's 9, often 10. The only time I go above 10 hours is if it's a special holiday like New Year's.
Yeah.
And then it's 12 hours. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Plus we have 2 hours of drive time. So it's a 14-hour day right there.
Wow.
Taking that into consideration, here's a look at the average day, at this day. I arrive to the groom. I bring with me fabric and little props for his details. So I have some branches, I have some flowers, I bring velvet. I have a couple different colors for different situations. And I like to bring it so if they have a horrible motel room, I'm not dependent on a table or rug there that's ugly.
Gotcha.
Set that up, do the details. Then I leave and my assistant takes over with the groom and I go to the bride. This is this past Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the bride. She has 15 girls. She wants a first look with her father, a first look with the bridesmaids, pictures of her reading a card from the groom and opening gifts. Groom has the same thing as his end. He has a first look with his parents, which I've never had before. Then we do portraits of each bridesmaid with the bride. This is all in 20 minutes. I don't have a lot of time because the schedule's been, it went from, no time to for portraits, to the actual first look in portraits, to more time there, but only 25 minutes for the whole getting ready. It was very condensed. Then we go for the first look, which is not where the bride is. It's at the venue. There's a waterfall. Set that up. Converse with the videographer. He has to have a place where the waterfall's not in the background. It's too noisy. He can't record them talking. So working out these logistics, and you're doing this all in seconds, not in an hour, not in a half hour. You've got maybe 3 minutes to figure it out. Go from first look, go inside, do vows. We found a window, so we didn't need lighting. Do the vow exchange. That took a long time. Then go back outside, gather the whole wedding party, and walk around with them and do some great portraits of the couple in this sort of factory, warehousey area. Then we go on a bus, take the couple to a waterfall around the corner, do portraits with lighting at dusk. Then we go back to the venue, set up studio lights, videographer setting up his lights, so we have to merge it with his lights so we're not hot and he's not off. Color temperatures have to match. We do all the family portraits. They had 30. We were lucky we had a planner that called out the list. Normally I have to do it. I have to stand there with the list in my hand and okay, we didn't have to do that. So it was very quick, but very beautiful. It was up against a glass window. So it was tricky with kind of carnival lights hanging down. So it had a curtain of lights. So I used one big main light in a softbox and an edge light towards the back. So there's separation between them and the glass. So it looks really beautiful. It looked like a cinema, like cinematic lighting.
Nice.
So then we go from that to her seeing her mom who was disabled. They brought her just for the ceremony, and that was emotional. So we're capturing that, and then the ceremony. So all this before 6 o'clock at night. We work till 1 a.m.
Wow.
So it's just starting. So the ceremony is like 40 minutes, then cocktails, then we set up lights in the room, in the ballroom, making sure our off-camera flashes are going to be flattering and light the couple when they're on the dance floor, make sure the toasts are lit appropriately. So I have little lights in the corners. Yeah. I do some parallel lighting. And then it's all candids at that point. Along with the candids, there's some things we know are scripted, the toasts, the first dances, but there's some surprises like a big balloon drop at midnight. So I had to make sure I stalked the couple for a while and was right there when the balloons came down, because it would be easy to miss that. They had 300 people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So it was total sea of people.
Wow.
So that's the day of. In the meantime, I have to make sure all the cards are safe. They're all backed up. That's taking place right there. Then when I get home, I don't go to bed until I've downloaded everything, uploaded everything. I make sure it's in my computer in 2 hard drives before I go to bed, because I can't sleep otherwise. I've had losses in the early days. Oh, yeah. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
There's stories around those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do that. And then I start processing. And there were 8,900 images to go through.
Wow.
So it takes me a day and a half to edit, just to cull, to go down through it. And I was really unsuccessful in getting it below 2,500 images. I couldn't. There's 300 people. They're fantastic dancing pictures. It was a wildly great crowd, and all tall. The bride was like 6 feet tall, and I'm 4'11", and all beautiful. So you want to show them all of that, right? Yeah. So the processing took me 3 days straight. Wow. So I mean, 3 long days.
4 days worth of solid work.
4 days. And we're not done. We're not done, because now I'm going to make a slideshow. Then I have to upload it, and I categorize everything. So it's all in categories, so it's easy to find. Oh, I'm looking for the midnight shot. You go to that folder. It's all easy. And then they get albums. So then they have to choose, and then they get back to me with their choices. Then I have to design. Then they're going to make their comments of what they want changed. And, sometimes it's 15 times.
Wow.
That's a typical wedding. And you can cut a few hours out of it, but it's still the same, no matter what I do.
So it's 40 hours easily in this one, in a wedding.
Easy. It's probably more like 60 to 80 by the time you're done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Highly underpaid for that. not paid enough for that.
Of course, right? I mean, 60, I mean, this is the thing I'm talking about, is that I don't think people really see the amount of work that you guys put in to this preparation, and, during and after, and all the work.
And equipment and upgrades.
Exactly.
I upgrade equipment every year.
Yeah.
I'm constantly making sure I have the latest and greatest, and I have the best sensor. And I went mirrorless this year. That was a huge expense because I had to get all new lenses and all new everything.
Mhm.
And lighting, I'm upgrading all the time. I bought the Lume Cube this year, and I'm purchasing video lights like the videographer uses, which are $1,000 each. I mean, major lights, not my little flat panels.
Sure.
So it's what makes the work different, is that, I like lighting. So yes, I love natural photography and I shoot a lot of available light, but I don't like the comment, I'm a natural light photographer, because I think it's a cop-out to, I don't know how to use a flash. And I don't know how to use studio lighting, and I have no interest in learning. And if you walk into a black hole of a space and that's all you can do is shoot available light, it's a total cop-out, because you're not serving your customer fully.
Yeah.
You need to be able to, God gave us flashes for a reason. You have to be able to use them.
Use the light, right?
Use the light. Light is just light.
Yeah.
I don't care if it comes from a light bulb or a window or a strobe. If you know how to use it, use it. It's a tool. So I bring whatever you can imagine situation we might hit. I bring everything for it. I bring umbrellas so they can go outside no matter what. I have hand warmers and foot warmers in my pack now.
This is stuff you've experienced over the years, right? Like, I mean,
years and years
of experience that you have that has gone into, look, I know that, look, you might need an umbrella. You might need a hand.
Yes.
Right? I mean, so
I bring 4 clear umbrellas, always in the trunk of my car.
Nice.
Light stands, clamps.
Yeah.
Because you never know. I had to clamp my light stand to a pole because there was too much vibrations in this tented floor and it was going to fall over. So we needed clamps and I bring duct tape so I could tape it up. Because if it's gone wrong, if it could go wrong, it has for me.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Every single thing that could go wrong has gone wrong. All my flash is not working, etc.
Yeah. How much, like if I was going to hire you to do something for me, like a wedding, like what were we talking about budget-wise?
I'm a medium price. I'm pretty medium price. So I start about $4,500, which for the Hudson Valley is low.
Yeah. Well, for what you just said, 60 to 80 hours that you
it's way low. Well, that would be for an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
No album, but I give everybody printed material. I'm a real thing about that. I want them to have a book, not necessarily an album, but a printed book, someplace that they have printed material, and one day that their computer crashes and they don't remember saving the images anywhere else and they don't remember who I was, they still have a copy of their wedding pictures. Because I have my wedding pictures that are just snapshots my brother took, and it was generations ago, a long time ago. But I am always worried. Everything's living in our phones, and one day you get a new format like Apple. You can't plug anything into your new Apple devices, right?
Yeah.
Well, so I include a printed something with every package.
That's awesome. So what advice, like specific advice, would you give couples today? If you were to give, if there was the one thing that you were going to tell them, what would it be?
I would say talk to the photographer and see if you have a connection. And if you feel comfortable talking to that person, if it's easy and you feel like you're on the same page, that's key, because there's a lot of work out there. It looks great. Yeah. I mean, there's so many talented people. I'm always faced with, oh my God, these young upstarts are so awesome.
Right.
And the other thing is, if somebody's brand new, be careful. It's fine if you feel that you can take a chance and pay less, but make sure you have someone there with some experience.
Interesting.
Because you don't want somebody to learn at your wedding.
Yeah.
everything. It doesn't mean don't hire somebody who's done 10 weddings, not by a long shot. That person might be fabulous, and I got started too.
Yeah.
Only when I did it,
right? We all get
you had
started.
to get started.
Yeah.
So, offer, if you're a photographer, offer your starting packages for very little to get out there. Right. That's fair because you don't have any experience.
Yeah. Ideally, though, I mean, you, for something like that, I mean, I would think you'd want to apprentice with someone, right? That's really good if you could.
Absolutely.
So you could learn the trade and then maybe go out and branch out and do something yourself.
That's what my guys have always done.
Yeah. I mean, it's smart. That's the way to do it, especially in this thing.
Yeah. And I pay them. I pay apprentices. I don't believe in this internship for nothing when you're working as hard as a wedding.
Well, anything, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't believe in the no paid interns,
No,
they work,
I think
you should pay
somebody's
them.
working, pay them.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't necessarily have to pay them $50 an hour because that's ridiculous, but pay them, make sure that they want to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, because it's good for everybody. It's good for me also because I learn from my upstarts. I learn from them. They teach me new things I don't even think about. And they're seeing things because I've done it a lot. I might be seeing things the same way all the time, which I work hard not to do.
Yeah.
But a younger or newer, could be an old photographer, it doesn't matter the age, but a photographer who's just starting out might say, oh, look at the cake shot from above. Whoa, that's cool. I didn't think of that. So there's always something to learn at both sides. Yeah. And it's really cool. I like it.
So let's talk about business a little bit. For you, what would you say is actually working well right now?
Relationship with venues has been probably the best referral for my business. Nice. Also brides referring me, but venues have been great. And the directories I find are almost a total waste of time now. Some of them are okay. I mean, I'm on Wedding Wire because I have a ton of really great reviews there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't think I book much. They are strictly price shoppers on Wedding Wire.
Sure.
They're not a little bit less.
Most customers are price shoppers anyway, right? Because they
don't know what else to ask. What else do you ask? Do you see all these pictures online? I had a bride who found me on New York Magazine.
Yeah.
And she said she looked at 1,000 photographers. I said, well, why did you pick me? She said, I don't know. Your work just spoke to me. And I was like, you looked at 1,000 photographers? She said, yeah, 90% all look the same. I couldn't differentiate one from the other.
Wow. Interesting.
And, oh, my cat just found a box.
Yeah, he's been hanging out there the whole time.
Luna.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah.
So what would you say is not? I mean, you talked a little bit about the directories, but what else would you say is not working well right now?
I'm not sure what's going on now. I've had less inquiries in the last couple of months than I've had before. But when I talk to other photographers, when they're being honest, they say they've had the same experience. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's cyclical. You know, I normally do between 30 and 40 weddings a year myself. And then my second would shoot maybe 10 to 15. Okay. This year, I only did 25, mm-hmm. which was low for me. Mm-hmm. It was also okay with me because if I'm making enough and I only have to do 25, I was kind of happy about it.
Yeah.
And it's funny how the season works. Like I get a lot of work early spring, March and April, which is weird. And then June is like, it's not that great. You know, June isn't what it used to be. Yep. My August is always busy. My fall is crazy.
Yeah.
Then it's off the charts. And that seems to be a Hudson Valley phenomenon because the autumn's beautiful. Summers are humid and disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty, but it's generally really hot.
It's humid. It's hot. Yeah. No one.
And spring is the season of mud here.
So, because of the rain.
Because the snow melts and you get mud.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's sort of 1.5 seasons really. And then I had a full December, totally full.
That's great.
I had a wedding in Philly. But these are all referrals. I had one at Oheka Castle, which is a major, major venue, and it was an African wedding. I really wanted to do it because I've never done an African wedding in all these years. Their budget was ridiculously low. And when I got there, this is a problem in my business. You can never say, what are you spending on your wedding? Yeah. I mean, I just would never ask them that. I could say, what's your budget? They say $2,800. Well, we're not talking then.
Yeah, right.
But when I get to the wedding, It's $1 million wedding. You know, the flowers had to be at least $30,000. They had a $35,000 band. The videographer got 10.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but wait a minute. I'm here with two people. But, you know, they said, oh, we're paying for it ourselves. I love that line. Yeah. We're paying for it ourselves. Well, what do you tell the restaurant when you're eating out?
Yeah.
I'm paying for it myself. Can I get a break?
Right.
So there's that. So it's frustrating in that I'm one to give in because I want to work, but you don't want to come from desperate need. Sure. You know, you don't want to feel like, but sometimes when you're self-employed, you feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm booking a year out.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm covered. So I don't know. It's, you know, I would say 90% of the good things in my business are all from referrals, both couples and venues. The bad things would be, none of my couples are bad. I've had great couples. Once we meet on the phone, I know if I want to work with them. Sure. And I've only once turned down a couple because they were just asking for the impossible and I couldn't make them happy. I knew they would not be happy. But I'll tell you, I had an illness. It was a big thing a couple of years ago. And I couldn't shoot 8 weddings, but my seconds were able to jump in. And all but one client were absolutely wonderful about it. They could have all asked for their money back. It's in my contract. Yeah. Only one said, I'd like a refund. And that was a relief because her wedding was far, far away. And she wanted no flash at all, even at night, even in a dark tent that wasn't lit. And I had fears my second would just crumble. So what I did in a situation like that, I gave all of them free albums. So it cost me a lot, but I kept my reputation.
Yeah.
And I'm back full steam. I got better, but that was scary.
Good. I'm glad.
So take out wedding insurance, couples. Tell couples to take out wedding insurance.
Take out wedding insurance. All right, cool.
We had a couple whose venue went bankrupt.
Really?
And they had wedding, yeah. And they
what
had
wedding
insurance.
I mean, look what happened to some of the dress companies recently, right? I mean, they just gone.
Or those photography companies like Bella, whatever it was, put a sign on their door, closed.
Gone. Yep.
And walked off with like 100,000 weddings.
That's crazy.
So wedding insurance, my one couple that this happened to were reimbursed 100%. All their retainers, everything, they got it all back. So they were able to have a wedding someplace else.
That's good. Yeah.
Wedding insurance is attached to your renter's or homeowner's insurance. It costs about $200.
It's not that expensive.
No. When you put out thousands.
How much money you're spending, it's not that expensive.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So tell me the worst business wedding story you got.
Worst business wedding story.
Business or it could be a business story or a wedding story. The worst.
Well, this is from years ago.
Okay.
A couple's mother hires me for a wedding that's at the St. Regis in New York City, which is very expensive.
Yeah.
And she has a tight budget. She's told she can either have a wedding or a honeymoon. She picks the wedding. She can only have 50 people. I meet her. She's like the ice queen, really cold. She's getting married to a guy. They never touch each other. They never hug. And I walk in the bathroom in the middle of the reception and she's making out with the best man.
Oh, no.
And I went home. I said,
wow.
I'm going by. I was like crushed. I was so upset.
God, my heart's broken.
I thought I got to go home. I can't be part. But I actually have one really amazing story.
Yeah. So the next question is, what's your best story you got?
I had a couple who, this was it right after 9/11. He was a fireman and she was working in the towers and she got blown out of the building.
Oh no.
And down the street and he rescued her. She had a broken back. He saved her life.
Wow.
And they fell in love and I shot their wedding.
Oh.
So that was an awesome wedding. It was it was 3 months after 9/11. It was all New York City firefighters and policemen.
Wow.
And people who knew them and lots of families who lost people and lots of families who didn't. And it was cry, 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 cry all day.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I've
I'm
stayed in
crying now.
touch. They have 5 kids and they're happily married. And those are the stories that make my life wonderful.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, those are great stories. I mean, that just makes the whole thing like, yeah, I can do this any day, every day, you know?
Yeah.
And let's see. So the last question I would have for you is, what specific advice would you have for businesses? Like if you're going to retire and you're going to pass down to your second shooters or those that are helping you, what specific advice would you give them going forward?
Really, it's all about service. If you are prompt, always replying to emails readily. I learned this the hard way by being a real terrible, terrible person to deal with in business around 2006 when I was shooting 70 weddings a year, because there weren't a lot of us doing it then in a
Sure.
documentary style. You know, it was new.
Yeah.
And I took everything and it was all film and I couldn't keep up. So
Wow.
only take on what you can do, what you can really produce in a timely manner. Answer emails right away. Don't wait. And give your clients time. Don't make them feel rushed. Answer their questions. Be there for them. If you do that, you will get the best reviews. If you show up to the wedding willing to be there as a servant, I'm here to serve you. I'm not just here to click a camera. That's important. But if you need me to hold your hands, I'll hold your hands. That in business, that's the number one best advice I can tell you, is truly be there for your couples. The bride is so nervous, so wound. She has so much invested. They've spent a year of their life planning the most expensive party they will ever have.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Ever, except for their own kids.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive thing they've ever done outside of buy a house. Be there for them. They need you to know, they need to know that you understand that, and you're going to hold their hands and be there and not make them feel bad. You're going to make them feel beautiful.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome advice, Cynthia. Thanks so much. Hey, thanks for doing this. That's all the questions I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Now, did I talk too much?
No.
It's usual.
It's fantastic. Great insight. I love it. Love it.
I hope I can still do this in 10 more years, which would make me truly the oldest wedding photographer on planet Earth.
Well, you don't look it, that's for sure. So.
Well, I'll be 70 in a couple of years.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And I just did a 12-hour wedding.
What?
The week before I did a 10-hour wedding. The week before I was in Philly at a hotel doing a producer from Mrs. Maisel's TV show, his wedding. That was another 10, 12-hour day. And I'm telling you, age doesn't mean anything if you feel great.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Except this part. So you gotta fix that part.
These things do change. I mean, yeah.
I can't grow the beard to cover it, so you know we're stuck.
I know. I'm cursed with the double chin from my grandfather. So
it was nice to talk to you.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks so much. I'll be posting this out, and make sure you send me your links, anything you have about you, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have, send it to me.
Will do. And keep your Instagrams up to date.
Yeah, you bet.
Keep it consistent and often.
Okay.
I'm learning that myself.
Yeah.
You could do it every day at a certain time, but be consistent. Just do it. A lot of stuff comes off of social media.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my niece who's getting married, she said that she sourced all of her vendors online.
See? It's all that way. Everybody does.
Instagram, Facebook. She said she was just looking at different things online, and then she chose who she wanted based on the pictures she saw.
That's it.
Yep.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Welcome. Okay.
Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. I hope that you found it helpful. Please share it with other people. Also, if you're getting married or you work in the wedding industry, I would love to interview and share your information with other people. Send me a text, 520-399-8580, or shoot me an email at letschat@wedding.report.